My name is Anastasia Aldelina Lijadi. I'm an Indonesian-born psychotherapist and has lived in Hong Kong, Bali, Taipei, and currently in Macau. I get connected with Grace and Solonia through their chain school, and I'm honored to be part of the Third Culture Kids Summit. My talk today is about value and identity of third culture kids, in which I'll be sharing some of the findings from my PhD dissertation. The concept of third culture kids refers to the individuals that have experienced high mobility lifestyle trailing behind their parents. It is in this interstitial culture, rather than the first culture, which refer to their passport country, or second culture, refer to the culture of countries they have been living, that gives them a sense of belonging and being understood among others with similar experiences. High mobility lifestyle is defined as a recurrent life transition as individuals move from one country to another country for various purposes. The high mobility lifestyle started when an individual prepared themselves to leave a country, followed by entering phase, which is the phase when an individual started to make connection and learn about the new place. And the third phase is involvement. This is the phase when an individual starts their adjustment and adapting to the new country and decide whether to get involved or to stay away from the local community. Let's start with the first phase, living. The TCKs claim that they often feel sad and jealous when their friends had to leave or repatriate back. The feeling of being left behind is bitter, and having to make new friends were overwhelming task. What did TCKs feel on their parents' decision to move to another place? They reported to feel of having no control of their life. They did not understand why their nanny could not go with them while their dogs can go. Ironic, isn't it? Some TCKs were in the middle of school year and the parents decided to move during this time. As their parents think in the new place, the school semester will just start, so the TCK will start in the same time with their peers and they will not miss anything. However, living in the middle of semester mean that the TCKs might not be able to finish some of school projects and tasks. And since they knew they would leave, they could get away of not doing it. In my study, average relocation of the participants in their first 18 years was 5 times. So imagine that in almost every year in their primary or secondary school life, the TCKs change school. That means so many unfinished tasks. For example, 2 years of gymnastic, a year of singing lesson, a year of taekwondo, 2 years of ballet. So many stuff they have learned and just forgotten in the new place due to various reasons, whether it is not available anymore or the TCKs is too preoccupied with adjusting to the new environment. So many new stuff they need to learn. My point here is the TCKs may not learn to commit in something and go through it until the end. And they also get habituated to leave anything and moving on in the long term, in their adult years. The TCK may apply the same pattern to their social relationship. They're reluctant to commit to university life, career, or they will leave and leave as soon as problems came, as that was the pattern they had experienced and learned throughout their life. Second in the high mobility lifestyle transition cycle is entering phase. The first 2 months or so in the new place can be very lonely. Being alone in the playground with no one to play with, or sitting alone during lunch break in school. This is the moment when parents and school can intervene. Parents of TCKs, there is no time to sit back and mourn or feeling nostalgic towards the previous place. Get on your feet. Get to know your neighbor. Parents, join the parent association in school. Learn some survival local language. Be proactive. Adjust to your environment. Your children need you that. I want to emphasize on continuing what they have started in the previous countries, but to be alert of challenges. Here is an example. Hiroko was 3 years old when she moved from Japan to Kuala Lumpur, then moving to Singapore when she was 9. She went to Japanese international school all up to grade 8. So by the time she was 14, in her adolescence, she moved back to Japan and her parents decided to enroll her to the local school. She has been studying in Japanese school anyway, so the parents think she will adjust very well in the local school. Hiroko had been joining the volleyball team previously, so she decided to join the volleyball team in the new school. The first week on the practice, she asked the coach if she could be the captain. She was only on the first week. Well, she was being assertive. However, being assertive is not the positive behavior in Japan. The coach was done with the request, and all her team members were shocked as they considered Hiroko to be rude and imprudent. Is she being rude? Is it wrong to be assertive? Hiroko felt heartbroken and discouraged to join the practice. Moreover, other students in the school had heard about Hiroko's intention to be the captain, so she was bullied and being ignored and being called by names. As a result, her academic achievement is very poor. The parents decided to move Hiroko to the international school, which was a great decision as Hiroko started to show improvement. However, the scar of being rejected and alienated stayed with Hiroko until now, 8 years after the incident. She mentioned in her interview that she learned a good lesson on adjustment, even though you understand the language, that you may not know the culture. So there was three issues that I would like to raise with the case of Hiroko. First, she was living and entering in the phase of adolescent age. And she is not moving to another country, she is repatriating. And another issue is disruption in academic. Hiroko's parents, and like many other parents of living and working abroad, will think that enrolling their children to the same language medium school as back home will help the children to prepare for the relocation back home and to minimize academic disruption. However, my point is that even the TCKs were fluent in the language, there was always something missing when you do not actually live and be there for some time. So enrolling your child to Japanese international school doesn't necessarily means that your child are prepared to repatriate back to Japan. And so also with other countries. The TCK need to accommodate other cultures and local cultures as well. Adolescence is the most delicate age. When the children are facing the task of finding their identity and getting ready to leave home for college, this is the period when they are looking for peer acceptance and at the same time finding out what they want to do in the future. So, moving during adolescent age, taking them out from their circle of friends and putting them in a new place, expecting them to build new friendships, it may take some time. It may never happen as well. Maybe in international school it will be easier as there might be other students in the similar situation. Just move in and need to find a friend. Other students in the international school have experienced the same situations, so they might show the compassion and offer welcoming hands. I hope that's the case. The third step in the transition cycle is involvement. After 3 to 6 months or so in the new place, the unspoken tension, Frustration of adjustment at a new place may subdue in due course of time. Parents of TCK often quoted saying, "Children adapt very fast. In no time, they pick up the local language." If only it was as easy as it sounds. Some TCKs reported that they have forgotten most of the local language they have learned in their primary years, as when they moved, they never have a chance to use it again. So, coming back to the issue of identity. The society, the rule, the immigration, the registration recognize us based on our nationality. Yet, nationality for TCKs is a confusing concept. The TCK also relate themselves to places they have lived as their identity. Even in the international school, they still recognize their students as per their passport country. But that is not their identity. The high mobility lifestyle exposed the TCKs to many different cultures that the TCKs developed expanded worldview, similar to having three-dimensional view of the world. The truth or meaning to one culture can be the opposite truth or meaning to another culture. That the TCKs understand the importance of analyzing and to look from different point of view. They learn from early childhood of different way of life. They become cultural chameleon due to their adaptability. However, the shortcoming of living for a short time and a frequent relocation is that the TCK tended to live for now and not plan too much for their future, as their life can change completely once their parents decide to move to another country. Another shortcoming with high mobility lifestyle is in social relationships. Friendship tended to build fast but shallow. The TCK live within expatriate communities, and some live within the compound of some sponsoring organization that they would eventually become friends with other children from the expatriate families. They witness friend come and go. They experience loss of friendship, and after subsequent amount, they learn not to become too attached. The TCK also live away from their grandparents and their extended relatives and their cousins. I noticed this with my two daughters. I also noticed that the cousins can help them in adjusting back, as they can be the first layer to deal with before meeting their peers. The cousins may be jealous with the TCK's upbringing, so as other local peers. Back in the passport country, the TCK developed what's so-called hidden immigrant syndrome. They are in their passport country. They're supposed to be at home by the definition of the society. But for TCK, that is not home. The passport country is another new country to adjust for the TCKs. So while in the passport country, the TCK feel they are in a similar situation as an immigrant. Not knowing the day-to-day practice, some of them has to learn the local language as a second language. Yet the locals and the society expected them to act and behave the same. Therefore, I want to create more awareness of the existence of the TCKs to greater public, not just within the expatriate communities, international school and counselors, but to everyone. One haunted question that the TCKs wished not to be asked was, "How long are you going to stay here?" The parents might know the answers, but definitely not the TCKs. What the TCK know is that they are not sure if they will be welcomed with open arms in the new place. When everyone is about to settle in, the time to move again. The same drama of relocation is repeated, maybe even more dramatic as TCK grew up. They had different belongings, different set of friends, activities and roles in the community. Bidding farewell is not easy as when you are 5 years old. Many expatriate families could not decide how long they are going to stay in the current place and where they will go next. I do hope the parents take time to contemplate the consequences of high mobility lifestyle not just focus on the benefits of the international exposure and multicultural upbringing. My message for everyone out there is to let the third culture kids bloom wherever they are planted, even only for a short time.